Hello guys, and welcome to another CNC Rivals video. So today we're going to be talking about how I got to Tiberium using this very cool deck, very powerful and very free to play. This deck is specifically meant for free to play players, only using one epic card, the MLRS. That way free to play players don't have to worry about the whole fact that I know most free to play players can't get a lot of epic units or very high level units. That is probably one of the top complaints is that epic units are very annoying to get as a free to play player. So I have 3 matches here, the 2 that actually boosted me into Tiberium, and then 1 just while I was in Tiberium. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So, here we are against Nito69, and he wasn't really that bad of a player. He was pretty decent. He tried to Harvester rush me, didn't work out because I have MLRSs. So, this is how I kind of counter rushes with this deck. So, I go ahead and open up with a War Factory, and then I think I go, because I think I just built a Harvester, right? It may have been, for some reason, it may have, because I actually had a feeling, because he's playing as Nod, so I think I actually had a feeling that he was probably gonna go rush my Harvester. And you see, I finally built a Harvester, then he immediately after I built a Harvester, immediately gets an attack bike. Fortunately, I still had a decent amount of income, so I'm go ahead and get a quick MLRS up here. Bam, there we go. It does get a volley off on my MLRS, but I do still take it out. I think this does get a volley off as well, but it doesn't kills the unit. Fortunately, my MLRS is still alive, so basically he sends any other attack bikes up here, he's going to lose that. So he spent 40 Tiberium, didn't get any return. I think it's 40, right? No, he actually spent 60. Attack bikes for 30. Yeah. So he spent 60 Tiberium, and I've only spent 70. Well, pretty much close to balanced, but I mean, basically, I spent almost just 10 more Tiberium than he did to take out 2 units. So there you go. And I'm going ahead and moving on to take out his Harvester. I don't think I get his Harvester here. I think I fall back, yeah. I shouldn't have fell back, but I was actually kind of afraid I was going to lose the missile here. He tries to tile block, which didn't really work out considering the fact that it's an air unit. So I do go ahead and get the next unit here, and I do block him off so he can't actually take out my Harvester. So I do continue the game. I build an MLRS. He moves in his Flame Trooper to try to take out my Missile Trooper, then uses his drill pod here. So unfortunately, there was not much I could do about that. I just pulled my Missile Trooper back to protect my Harvester from Banshee, my MLRS from Banshees, because I knew he was going to build one. I built my MLRS here thinking he was probably going to go try to attack my MLRS with his Banshee, since I knew he saw it with the Flame Trooper. So at this point, I used my Ion Cannon here, I think. No, I did not use my... I actually did my Ion Cannon, but it was a horrible Ion Cannon. I do see that he barely has a unit over here, so I go ahead and move in. He takes out my Talon here, but basically didn't achieve anything. I think this is where I actually may have used it. I do remember using it. I think, yeah, here we go. This is where I used the Ion Cannon. Only managed to get one of the Flame Troopers, but I guess it worked out anyway because he moved off the tile. I go ahead and move on the tile with my Missile Trooper, since I know he's probably going to build an attack bike or a Banshee to counter my Talons. He should have built attack bikes, not Banshees. Horrible idea. He does take out my Talon on top. Unfortunately, Talons are just slightly better, or Banshees are slightly better than Talons. So he does not try to actually attack my unit. I go ahead and move down with my Missile Troopers, and at this point, I have control of both top and bottom launch pad. So at this point, I do get the first missile, and there you go, perfect Ion Cannon clearing off that the second launch pad. So let's go ahead and get into the second replay, and this was the one that actually boosted me into Tiberium, and it was pretty difficult because he was using a tech build. So without further ado, let's get. So here we are against one tech. He is actually in Tiberium. I actually totally forgot he was in Tiberium, but you can see this challenge battle, so basically the pressure was on. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm only a couple of points off, and this is mainly for people who, because at the moment, I think it's still like 60 hours until, something like 60 hours or something like that, until, the season resets. So if you're in like Masters 1, this deck is really good. And I'm gonna do, once again, these 3 replays, and I think I do end up going against a GDI in the 3rd replay of when I'm actually in Tiberium, so that way you get a good idea versus Nod versus GDI what kinds to do. This is actually a Nod tech deck using Scarabs. I just use double War Dogs to scare off a Scarab. and then he just keeps the scarab on the bottom launch pad. When you build scarabs and you put them on these these quadruple launch pads that have quadruple tiles, you want to put them on the middle ones, not the side ones. You see here he has it on the side, which actually that's not a good placement. You want to put it on the side, the middle ones, because when a unit, like you see my war dogs, he would have been able to kill my war dogs instantly. However, he wasn't able to, making it so I could continue charging the missile. You can see here I'm basically charging up points. So I do see he already has a new unit there. So I go ahead and move down war dog so I can continue charging the missile. That way we are still in advantage of the game. So my my war dog does die. However, at this point I think I'm about to soon let out a Talon. And at this point, yeah, I'm actually about to go back around. You see here, that's a huge gap in his defense. Yeah, I do build a Talon now. He left a huge gap in his defense by not building moving his scarabs up. He should have done that a long time ago. Horrible scarab placement. He's definitely a bit off in terms of his placement. He should have, yeah, he was trying to get his, he didn't even have double harvesters. He should have had double harvesters. So at this point, I do notice he has this thing, and the best counter I have to that cannon is, unfortunately, he messes up here, and you can see I get in range, and I use my ion cannon, shabam, there you go, his unit is deleted off the map, so now his ion cannon is gone. He builds a double harvester to get his Inferno back, but I have double, Talons here, so he builds another Inferno, he's screwed. He builds Flame Troopers, he's screwed. He builds attack bikes, I can build up an MRS if I suicide one of my Talons. So at this point, I am in complete control. At this point, Talons, double Talons can easily take out one Missile Trooper. I did kind of fall for his bait here. He did kind of bait me out with the Flame Trooper, but it doesn't matter. I still managed to get him down. I used my Ion Cannon to actually take this unit out. It was a waste of an Ion Cannon, to be honest. So I go ahead and rebuild my War Dog to move him up there, and then I basically go ahead and block off the launch pad. At this point, there's not much he can do. There you go, I lost. Even if he would have walked on the launch pad, he would just simply delayed the inevitable. He did have Cyborgs, Basilisks, and Infernos, but he never even got a chance to put out Cyborgs or Basilisks. He would have built Basilisks, I would have simply, built Cyborgs, I would have simply just built Shockwaves to counter that. And he didn't seem to have a real answer to Shockwaves. So let's go ahead and get into the final replay, which is going to be one where I'm actually in Tiberium against a Tiberium player, so it's actually kind of fair. So let's go ahead and get to it. Here we are against a GDI tech deck, Cage 1, and you see he's actually top 400, which, of course, this was my first Tiberium match, so I was like, wow, of course they put me against a top 400 player, that doesn't make sense. So, you know, it looks already pretty iffy here, let alone he had Colonel Jackson. I know Colonel Jackson is very, very strong. However, the good thing is I still have pretty good units, so I build open with War Dog as always. And then scout out, I do see he has a militant, so I was going to harass him, but I did actually instantly pretty much end up noticing his missile troopers, so I was like, okay, there's not much I can do. I'm just going to try to kite and harass his, he doesn't, what I would have done if this was me with these missile troopers, I would have took the frame, this perfect opportunity to get some damage on my harvester, and with the other missile troopers, maybe try to bait my shockwaves, but unfortunately he didn't do that, so, you know. So I see he's moving over the Shockwave, and at this point, I couldn't move my unit. Oh, I did move it in time, actually. Yeah, I moved my War Dog. So you can see here, I basically played him off his speed boost. His speed boost was not really useful. So basically, he did get the Shockwave down. However, now he didn't get it in the time that he probably wanted to. So I have a new Shockwave up. I do see his Shockwave with my War Dogs now, so I go ahead and just let my War Dogs and my Shockwave take care of that Shockwave while the War Dogs finish off the units down there. I built another Shockwave, assuming he was probably going to build another Shockwave, because I don't have a lot of Shockwaves up anymore. He builds a Tech Lab, and the crazy thing is that he didn't go double Harvester. He's actually a very good Tiberium player, I'm not going to lie, because he didn't go double Harvester like most people when they transition into Tech. People, when they try to go into Tech, they get double Harvester. You see here, he finally builds his Wolverines. Unfortunately, this map is one of the best map for MRS setups. It is literally the best one, because if you put you see where my Shockwave was about to go before I moved him back up to take care of this Missile Trooper, where he was about to go, that is one of the best spots in the game, because you can attack where that enemy Shockwave is, you can attack where my Shockwave is, you can attack all the tiles on the other side launch pad. You can almost everywhere except for all the way up top, and that's about it, and you can just put a unit there to take care of that. So at this point, the game is basically GG. I'm charging the missile, and I have a war dog in the bottom one. He decides not to go down there, which was his mistake. He should have tried to contest it. Instead, he didn't try. He's trying to go around for my MLRS. And I still have control on 3 pads. So at this point, his tech lab did not pay off. He didn't get anything out of that tech lab, specifically because he didn't have double harvesters. He didn't have enough Tiberium income to actually support a tech lab strategy. So that's going to be it, guys. This will be my video for free-to-play players. There's still 60 hours before the season resets, and unfortunately, all Tiberium players are going to get put down all the way down to, I think, Platinum 2 or Platinum 1, I think it was. Because I know everyone else is probably gonna get everyone else probably get put down to bronze, maybe silver. But anyone who's in Tiberium should get put down to around platinum, maybe even diamond, maybe even gold. I actually forgot to count it, but basically, there's still 60 hours left, you still have a day and a couple of hours, a day and I think 2 days to basically grind out. You have 2 days and a couple of 12 hours to grind the last little bit of XP. So I recommend you go ahead and do that. It is pretty much best, to do that because obviously I did it. I only did it in 2 days, but the first day I would have gotten on the first day of grinding. However, I kind of messed up because it was pretty late at night, so at nighttime, it's kind of like Star Wars Force Arena. At nighttime, a lot of players, you come across the same players over and over again. So that ended up happening to me, and I actually lost like 3-4 times. So I lost like 70, 60 points. So I just got off, and I lost a couple more points in the morning. But yesterday, I ended up basically boosting up to like 200 points, easy, quick, couple of victories, and bam, and this was obviously the victory that boosted me up. I got quite a few challenge matches, but that's going to be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.